Hi Adrian, super quick video to give you an overview of these findings. I think there's some significant cost savings here. Firstly, it's easy for us to criticise at the end. I don't want to be too negative on the Calibre guys. They're a good team. We've worked with them before. Having said that, there's definitely some significant ideas to consider. I'm going to code pretty fast to try and keep this to 5 minutes. Firstly, the on-site detention tanks are not a good idea. It's very likely we could show that they would make council's problems worse. We've got the site here, Walter Street, draining, not really through very much infrastructure until it gets to the creek. And we know from the council flood study, here it is here, that it has some problems with these, a lot of problems actually, but downstream of this site, these properties in particular, and it's very likely detention would make that flooding worse. Not by very much, but it would make it worse. So there's a pretty strong technical case to get rid of all the OSD on the site. They might be like, I don't know, $300,000. Plus you get some benefits and deep soil and some space back. Maybe that's a problem for you guys. The second reason is, if we zoom back in, here's the pipe network. We're draining into a pipe network that's really over capacity. And again, near the bottom of the catchment, so we're better to drain our site or the Walter Street site into these pipes early in the storm before the wave arrives from upstream. It's kind of the same principle actually as the flooding. Incidentally, for site 2, I also thought there was a better shot at drainage this way. That's a bit more adventurous, but this pipe has a bit more capacity. Seemed like a shorter run. Maybe that's something you guys considered. And then more generally, the road drainage design seems really heavy. I mean, it's textbook, but this is not a large catchment. It just looks like a lot of pits and pipes. Maybe you could shave that in half. That might be another $100,000-$200,000 of savings to rationalise all those pits and pipes. But I do understand that there's other reasons to put textbook answers in. Maybe the council guys saw an opportunity to get some free infrastructure. The detention tank, even if council insists on these tanks, or you don't want to, have a swing at it, you could shave like 30% off the volume by just being a bit more clever about the way they're designed. I won't tell you all the detail, but I can if you're interested. But there's maybe 50, 100 grand saving in that, and again some deep soil. And then you could council also considers using reuse in lieu of OSD. That might make the tanks go up even, but you'd get some savings in the maintenance of all these storm filters, which are really expensive over the life. They have really, really expensive maintenance programs. I mentioned just draining site 2. The street drainage looks pretty heavy. Here's a super easy win for like 50k for like nothing. The rainwater tank in site 1 hasn't been included in the music model, which means that you could take, I don't know, a handful of these filters out of that tank and save 50k without doing anything. So you should definitely consider that. Site 2 doesn't have any rainwater storage at all, but that might be intentional. But again, if you put some in, you can take filters out. Generally, the filters are a much more expensive way in the long term. If you have the space, much better to use rain gardens. But there's all sorts of design reasons why maybe you can't fit these types of gardens. Also, normally, there's a lot of pit baskets. Every pit has a basket, 32. It's normally more efficient, both capital and maintenance, to centralise that GPT factor. So take all those pit baskets out, put in a big GPT like this. This is just an example from Ocean Protect that we use. So that's it. Overall, I think there's somewhere between like $200,000 and $700,000 of potential savings. But I do understand rework's expensive and time, and also approval risk. There's lots of factors in there. But hey, take any of these ideas. You're welcome to them. Share them with the Calibre guys. We're very happy to share them. The good ideas are a dime a dozen. It's the implementation that counts.